Good morning. How's it going? Happy Saturday. Hello, Faze. Hello, Sneaks. Hope you guys are well. Alright, so we're going to go back into this case and see what else we can find out about what happened with this body. And see how many people believe that healing magic is actually necromancy magic, because it is. In this world, it is anyway. Take a look. Tyrion, what are we doing here? I'm not sure. For some reason, you felt drawn to this place. Wait, is that Eris? Sus points further into the cemetery. There, you see Eris standing in front of a gravestone. She's placing flowers on it, appears to be chanting a short prayer. Well, we found her. We probably should talk to her later. It will be rude to disturb her now. As you're about to leave, Eris suddenly turns to face you. She's far away, but you can see her beckoning you over. Oh, hello there. Were you two looking for me? Sorry, we were looking for you, but well, we understand you'd rather talk later. No, I was just finishing up here. Did you have something you wanted to talk to me about? Well, we wanted to ask you some questions about the case. Oh, yeah. That was my first time watching a court trial. You were truly remarkable. Thank you. Were you in the gallery? I've always enjoyed watching physical battles in the theater, but now I see battles of wits can be just as entertaining to watch. Entertaining? Yeah, I know what you mean. You see, the odds are stacked against him, but then he suddenly pulls out this crazy deduction and steers the trial in his favor. I've never really thought of it like that, but I'm sure it's far more entertaining than the ones making the deductions. I'm not sure what you mean. I practice law so I can help those persecuted by the justice system. I don't really do it to entertain myself. But is that really true? Don't you find the experience even the least bit entertaining, Tyrion? I really wouldn't put it that way. You're far too modest. You save people from the clutches of death. To your client, you might as well be a knight in shining armor. I still don't like... Earlier you said you were studying illusion magic. I am. Did you want to ask me about the prosecution's theory? Yes, actually. How did you know? It was easy to guess after seeing you in the courthouse. Anyway, disguising an undead with an illusion is definitely possible. And as Lady Steelwind said, illusory disguise would be the best spell to use for that. What if someone created a freestanding illusion? A freestanding illusion? Yeah, we know that Wallace didn't animate and disguise the professor's corpse. So what if the illusion wasn't disguising anything? Maybe someone created a freestanding illusion of Bellwether walking around. Something like that, it would probably... Someone would use major illusion. Creates three-dimensional illusion. The illusion can take up the form of any object or creature that can be contained within a 10-foot cube. While concentrating, the caster can animate and move the image to a different location within range. The illusion is purely visual and can't be physically touched. It being purely visual, I mean, it can't talk. What is it? I don't think major illusion is what we're looking for. Do you remember what Jan said? I was cleaning the mess in the hallways, but Bellwether knocked over a vase and there were shards and dirt everywhere. If the Bellwether that Jan saw was just a major illusion, she couldn't have knocked over that vase. Illusions created by that spell don't have any mass. I see. How perceptive of you. Aren't there any other illusion spells that do have mass? No. Illusions can only recreate visual and auditory sensations. There isn't a single illusion spell that someone can touch. That means that someone disguised something to make it look like Bellwether. Why the look of suspicion, Celeste? So sorry, I wasn't... Calm down, I'm only joking. I don't blame you for considering every possibility. In fact, I'm flattered you think I'm capable of pulling off such an elaborate ruse. Anyway, this does tell us one important thing. I am confident she did it. God dang it. What's that? The Bellwether that Jan saw had physical mass to it. It wasn't a freestanding illusion, it was someone or something disguised as Bellwether. So we have Jan's statement. But now, oh yeah, now we get Jan's statement. Okay, cool. It's quite a shame, isn't it? Eris looks pensively at the gravestone. The name on the stone says Emily Grant, and her lifetime appears to have been awfully short. She was only 12 years old when she died. Sorry for interrupting you. Was she someone you knew? Not personally. I'm actually here on Wallace's behalf. Wallace knew her. Wallace joined the Academy as part of a program run by Headmaster Redmond. At the time, the headmaster was reaching out to mages among the common folk. He had started a program to admit these mages to the Academy without having to pay tuition. Both Emily and Wallace were among those mages. Oh wow, that must have been an amazing opportunity for them. The truth is, neither of them actually cared about learning magic. The real problem was that Emily had a terminal illness. She and Wallace were poor orphans, and they obviously didn't have the resources to treat it, but they were enrolled in the Academy. The Academy would be obligated to give her medical treatment. The Imperial Academy teaches the best mages in the kingdom. They thought that curing her illness would be an easy task for the Academy's healers. But they were mistaken, I'm afraid. I'm sure you know this by now, but healing spells can only treat wounds. They can't cure illnesses. Emily's condition got only worse over the years, and eventually she succumbed to her illness. Wallace was furious. He didn't understand why the kingdom was outlawing magic that could save lives. And that's why he decided to learn it himself. Yes. Headmaster was inspired by Wallace's resolve. He gave him access to the library's forbidden tomes of necromancy. And Wallace taught himself the spells he knows today. So that's why it was supposed to say a secret between him and the headmaster, but I'm sure you know how that turned out. Yeah. Uh-huh. It's grave Emily Grant. Yeah, there's just a bunch of gravestones that we're not familiar with that I'm sure we're not going to be able to...
Repario Arcanum.
Prize, no magic. Alright. Oh, okay. I'm just gonna... let's go back to the foyer. This is gonna be... Okay, never mind. We're gonna go to the library. To the library! Oh, it's you, Mr. Cuthbert. Stealing, what are you doing here? After what happened at the trial yesterday, I decided it would be best to start my investigation here. Right, Wallace was in the library for the entire morning, so it makes sense that she'd start her search here. Actually, since I have you here, have you seen Eris the monster anywhere? I'm assuming that you're both acquainted with each other. Eris, what do you want with her? Not for anything serious, mind you. Just that Oval Commander lost her spell companion. Now we need to produce another one for our records. If you see her, please let her know we'd like to speak with her. We saw her earlier in the cemetery nearby, but I have no idea where she is now. Once again, I have to compensate for that idiot's mistakes. Anyway, I was wondering if I could ask you some questions about the case. Very well, I suppose I still need to honor a deal from earlier. Have you had any luck finding the scene of the crime? Unfortunately, I haven't. From the witness's testimony, we have a rough idea of the route Bellwether took, but none of the rooms we've checked have any sign of a struggle. Why are you so sure that a struggle happened? I'm mainly basing that off of the Iana's sister's testimonies. Valerie, in particular, noted the bleeding came from a wound in her stomach. Regrettably, the body's wounds were mended. I can't determine what kind of weapon the murderer used. This is true. The healing magic definitely kind of screwed this one up a little bit. During the trial, you mentioned that another witness saw Bellwether walking around yesterday. Would you be willing to tell us who that person is? I'm sorry, but I can't tell you that. Got a little off guard. I'm pretty transparent with your investigation so far. What's changed? I have no obligation to justify myself to you, or do I have an obligation to help the opposition? Didn't we have a deal? Hiding information doesn't exactly seem fair to us. I believe I've given you plenty of information already. So regardless of what I said before, the answer is still no. The family is dangerous. The I-4 has catched a stray thought from her. Her family is dangerous. What does that mean? Is there something about the witness's family that you're worried about? No, this could be a feint. I'm sorry, but you'll have to try harder than that. You want to bluff me. Travis, the witness is her. Furthermore, she said her family is dangerous. Why would she go to such lengths to hide the witness's identity? In any case, it looks like she's not willing to share more at the moment. Maybe she's trying looking somewhere else. Let's go to the locker room. This is new. Spend time wandering through the academy when you overhear a conversation from a nearby room. From what I understand, Miss Steelwind has already moved the investigation elsewhere. How long must I wait before I can retrieve my things? Sorry, old-timer. Orders are orders. Nothing comes in or out till this case is over and done with. But Commander White, and the headmaster too? Oh, hello, Mr. Cuthbert. Hey, kid. In any case, there are other matters I must attend to. Please inform me when I can reclaim my things. Sure. Looks like Commander White is standing guard in front of this locker room. And it doesn't look like he's conducting any sort of investigation. You're on Steelwind's orders? He might be able to tell you who the secret witness is. Ah. Hey, what was the headmaster talking to you about? Supposedly, he has some items stored in one of the faculty lockers. The problem is, Steelwind said no one gets in or out of this room. Except for her and you two, apparently. Us? Why is she letting us through? She won't even let the other knights in here. Really? Is that normal? Nope. But things rarely are when she's calling the shots. Why would she give you access to the crime scene if she wasn't even letting knights in? I don't know what her deal is, but she's been acting strangely. Been real paranoid, that girl, frankly. I can't tell what's going through her head. You mentioned the prosecutor's been paranoid lately. Do you think it had something to do with this case? Nah, it started way before that. Lately, she was using the Inquisition to investigate a lot of non-magical homicides. What? Wouldn't it be easy to work with the relevant law enforcement for that? I don't know why, but she's convinced these cases have magic involved. We scanned each and every one of those crime scenes. Nothing turned up. I gotta say though, if it weren't for the scans, I might actually agree with her. Why do you say that? Those homicides. I have never seen anything like them. Probably some of the most screwed up cases I've ever handled. One of the cases, we had ourselves a disgruntled spouse. She found out that her man was going around with a barkeep. And you know how that spouse does? You know what the spouse does? She stalks the poor woman. She starts leaving threatening notes all around where she worked. Barkeep told City Watch about what was happening. No matter how much they staked out the tavern, they could never catch the perp. Then one day, the barkeep arrived home. Little did she know, the spouse was waiting there for her. Well, they never had a chance. Then tie the whole thing together, the spouse waits for her husband to get home. She cooks him a big roast. Alright, Sweeney Todd. Calm down, Sweeney Todd. Wow, that story's pretty, I know. Still, I think someone's developed a new type of magic that control people's minds. His homicides were some kind of sick test run. Magic that can control people's minds. But wouldn't Mage Blight make more sense? Mage Blight. When a mage overuses their magic, it can have a pretty bad consequence on their mind. They temporarily lose grip of reality and begin seeing things that aren't there. When a mage becomes like that, it almost never ends well. They enter a frenzy and begin firing spells randomly, which only makes it worse. I've seen my fair share of Mage Blight cases. This isn't like that. All the perps are mages. The ones that were didn't even use their magic. One thing that each of the perps almost seemed to wake up. One thing was that each of the perps almost seemed to wake up after we arrested them. All of them said things like, "It wasn't me," or "I didn't have a choice." They didn't have a choice. What did that mean? I doubt it means anything. Sometimes people can't face the things they've done. Easier to say you have no control than to take responsibility. You wonder if you can mislead the commander in revealing who the secret witness is. During the trial, Miss Steele had mentioned that someone other than Yan Hughes saw Bellwether walking around. Have you seen them around lately? We wanted to speak with them. Ha! Nice try, kid. Well, worth a shot. Honestly, I couldn't tell you if I wanted to. I don't think anyone other than Steele knows who this witness is. I sure as hell don't. She's been hiding from the Inquisition commander? Why is she being so secretive? Looks like the commander doesn't know who the secret witness is either. This isn't getting us anywhere. Steelman's behavior is strange, though. Perhaps you could try analyzing her behavior. To do that, you might be able to find a way to convince her to help you. Alright, Steelman's behavior has been strange this time around. She's hiding elements of the case, even from the commander. Anyone can tell that she doesn't have much faith in him. I'm standing right here. This is the first time I've seen her hide key details of a case from him. So what's motivating Steelman to keep secrets? There has to be some reason. I'm gonna guess paranoia. Her actions must be driven by paranoia. She's been hoarding information about the case. There's only one reason why she wouldn't utilize the Inquisition like she usually does, because she doesn't trust them. I hate to say it, but it doesn't really surprise me. It's always been standoffish with us. There is one exception. Who has Steele entrusted for this case? There are individuals who she trusted more than the Inquisition during this case. That's us. She let us investigate crime scenes without any restrictions. Yeah, I never really thought about that. Does she trust us that much? I don't think personal trust is the reason. So why does Steele entrust us this time? We usually don't interact with her. And she's worked with the Inquisition on plenty of cases that we weren't even involved in. Tyrion isn't capable of using magic. No. Steelman doesn't know much about us, but she does know we aren't prone to noble corruption. Right, you indicted a noble during the last case. Meanwhile, the Inquisition usually bends to the nobility's whims. Well, I can't argue with you there. So what can we infer about this? There must be a noble. If she's worried about corruption for the nobility, that can only mean one thing. The witness is a noble. The witness has to belong to a noble family. That's why she's so wary of interference. But we're obviously not going to do anything corrupt. Why is she hiding the witness's identity from us? Crossing a thought through the eye. Her family is dangerous. I think she's worried about our safety. Yeah. I guess harassing a noble could put you in danger. But I'm the protege of the infamous Ruby Tamora. Yeah, it's not as if we aren't already on the nobility's bad side. I'm sure the Pierce family still has it out for us. The case can only mean that we're... This case can only mean that we're dealing with members... Ooh, try it again, Trey. This can only mean the family we're dealing with is even more powerful than House Pierce. If the prosecutor is wary of them, they can even be as powerful as the Steel Winds. Oh wait, what's it you think we're dealing with one of the Four Pillars? Four Pillars? Is that the name that people use for the top 4 noble houses? These families have that's the name that they use for the top 4 noble houses. These families stand at the top of the kingdom's aristocracy. If I remember correctly, the 4 pillars are House Frega, House Von Sanctus, House Sybil, and House Steelwind. Steelwind is part of one of them? Yeah. Which makes it so much weirder that she's serving as a prosecutor. What is it? Steelwind's weird behavior all started after she investigated this room. We're at the crime scene, and she left to follow the lead. An hour earlier, she came back to the lecture hall and booted everyone out. Her behavior changed after investigating this room. That means she found something here. And that something must point to a family of the 4 pillars. Man looks a bit anxious. Seal's orders say I can't snoop around here, but you two, on the other hand, don't worry, just leave it to us. I have some school records which say which locker belongs to which student. You can use it to tell whose locker you're looking at. I like him. Oh, there's an arcane construct in the back. It's probably here to aid students. Anyway, I don't think it's relevant to our investigation. But perhaps you should make a small note of it anyway. Yeah, that might be useful. Use the legend that the commander gave you. Look carefully across the list and find some notable student names. We're definitely... Well, that... Okay, there's just 3... Casually, there are just 3 names of the... there's 3 pillar names here. How convenient. We're gonna start with Wallace's locker, though. You open Wallace's locker. Inside, you find a bottle of fragrant liquid and something that looks like a makeup kit. I didn't expect Wallace to use stuff like this. It does seem strange, but it's not your place to judge. Anyway, we should try looking through the other lockers. Use the legend. Let's see. Let's look at Miriam. Open locker with Miriam Frega's ID number. Inside, find a stack of worn-out textbooks and notebooks. Wait a minute. These notebooks all have Wallace's name on them. You open the notebook and look through its pages. It appears to be research on the art of necromancy. These are Wallace's notebooks. Why are they in Miriam Frega's locker? Did Miriam steal his things? What's going on here? Let's check the locker more thoroughly. Wait a minute. Tyrion, take a look at this. That's blood. There's a blood stain inside the locker with Miriam Frega's ID number. Oh. Okay. How about Mr. Von Sanctus? Signed several bottles of some kind of transparent lotion. There's nothing but lotion in here. Oh. No, I assume we need this much lotion. Take one of the bottles and inspect it more closely. Wait, Tyrion, don't touch this with your hands! It's some kind of sanitizing liquid. It's a little strange, but it doesn't seem to be related to the case. It's germaphobe. Understood. We go to Warren Sybil. Inside, you find some textbooks and a neatly stacked deck of tarot cards. Oh, it's like those cards that fortune tellers use. One of the students studies divination magic. But anyway, I don't think this is related to the case. Okay, so it's... Why does Miriam's locker have Wallace's notes? We found a few things, but I can't really make sense of any of it. We should look at this from the prosecutor's perspective. Steelwind found something in one of the lockers. Whose lockers have the most suspicious evidence? It would be Miriam. No matter how we look at it, we found some insanely suspicious things in Frega's locker. It had Wallace's notebooks and even some blood. That blood is certainly strange. It implies that something bloody was stored here. Do you think someone stole it? No, actually. I think it was Steelwind who took it. Oh, right. Aura mentioned that she investigated this room. She must have taken the bloody item as evidence. With that said, there's something else that's strange about Miriam Frega's locker and a lot of Wallace's possessions. It's possible she really did steal these items from it, but it's more likely this locker isn't actually hers. Remember what Wallace told us before? Sometimes the other students would steal the ID number off my locker. I switched with the number of another locker. I thought it was funny whenever the student who owned that locker got angry with me. Someone switched the nameplates. This means it isn't Miriam Frega's locker, it's Wallace's. But that would mean the bloody object came from Wallace's locker. It appears so. Well, that doesn't help us. But if that's true, why didn't Steelwind present the bloody item during the trial? I proved that Bellwether was wounded before Valerie healed her. Wouldn't that have been a perfect time to present what she found? If it was a bloody item found in the defendant's locker, after all, she could have easily provided the nameplates, proved the nameplates were switched too. Right, that is weird. There's something more to this you aren't seeing, but what? I think we'll just have to steal one for ourselves. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's go talk to Steelwind. She's probably still in the library. Oh, you're back. We uncovered a few things during our investigation. Miss Steelwind, are you acquainted with a student named Miriam Frega? I underestimated him. I said it before, Mr. Cuthbert. I won't fall for such an obvious bluff. It's not a bluff, Miss Steelwind, and I'll prove it using the evidence we've gathered. Alright. Let's start an argument. You've been behaving strangely, Steelwind. Even the Knights of the Inquisition have noticed. Please just tell me, why are you being so paranoid? I'm not sure what you're trying to imply, Mr. Cuthbert. Nothing about my behavior has changed. I have approached this case objectively, just as I have with every other case. That's not true. Why? Because your orders are in a direct contradiction to that. You've ordered the Knights to stay away from the crime scene. You've even taken it upon yourself to conduct the investigation yourself. It's not normal behavior if you're a prosecutor. I took these actions because the Inquisition is incompetent. How could I possibly trust them with anything? The Knights are incompetent, but even you can see the value of delegation. During Celeste's case, you delegated tasks to the Inquisition, and you could have easily investigated the McCoy Tavern yourself. This academy is huge. You wouldn't conduct your investigation this way unless you had a good reason. Then why don't you enlighten me? Why would I act in such a way? What would cause me to behave so strangely? It would be... Nope. Is it the pillars? Am I okay? You know the Inquisition is corrupt and will bend to the nobility. What would happen if a powerful noble were probably involved in this case? The noble's influence, they probably ordered the Inquisition to conceal their involvement. High-profile noble is involved in this case, Steelwind. I believe that noble is Miriam Frega. Again with this, do you think you can bluff me by throwing out the names of random nobles? Not every noble is a malevolent criminal like Garrick Pierce. I've said it before and I'll say it again. My investigation doesn't involve the Fregas. Nothing about this case has anything to do with them. Except we found this evidence. How do you explain the commander told us that you were following the lead in the locker room yesterday. We investigated lockers of students of the four pillar families, and we found stains of blood in a locker with Miriam Frega's ID number. And it was presumably left by a bloody object. The bloody object was taken by someone, and we've heard that you became extremely paranoid after you found something in the locker room. If I had to guess, I'd say that you took the bloody object as evidence. And what evidence do you have to support these outrageous claims? What? The only thing you have is evidence of a blood stain. There's a myriad of explanations for that. Everything else you mentioned is pure speculation. You can't prove that piece of evidence exists. I could have found any number of things in that room, or possibly nothing at all. I want to say we want to rationalize with her. Let's not be coy, Steelwind. Anyone can tell if the bloodstain is the most notable thing in that room. How are you so sure? You weren't there with me during my investigation. As I said, a number of things could have happened to change my behavior. Oh, well, alright. You found an object in the locker with Miriam Frigga's nameplate on it. If you don't present what you found to the court, I'll have no choice but to pull the owner of that locker to the stand. So that's ridiculous. Well, the locker in question belongs to Wallace. Can you unequivocally prove that, Miss Steelwind? The way I see it, there's a lot of room for doubt there. Enough doubt for me to pull Miss Frigga onto the witness stand. If I had more context, maybe I wouldn't have to resort to that. Blackmail. Well played, Mr. Cuthbert. Suppose I don't have a choice, do I? Yeah. What are you doing? Just so we're clear, I wasn't acting to protect the nobility, but I'll admit that Miriam Frigga was the other witness that that saw Bellwether that day. I see. I had some suspicion, but there's also another matter. Tuma looks uneasy. When I was investigating the body, I found this. Oh. Oh. Wow. It looks like Miriam's been cheating at school. But why would Bellwether have something like this? From the way it's arranged, I think it may have been blackmail. Miriam Frigga is considered a prodigy in the practice of conjuration magic. She won a litany of awards, and she will most definitely graduate with honors. If these files were to reach the public, it would absolutely ruin her reputation. Even the professor was trying to threaten her. It appears so. When I discovered this, several elements of the case were still unknown. I decided to look through her belongings, and I mistakenly looked through the locker with her ID. I found this in that locker. Oh, we have a murder weapon! Rapier covered in blood. It was found in Wallace Nightgrave's locker, apparently a valuable heirloom to House Frigga. It's very likely that this is the murder weapon, but it was a valuable family heirloom of House Frigga. And a few weeks ago, Miriam reported that the rapier was stolen from her room. And then it was found in Wallace's locker. Not that I'm complaining, but why didn't you present this to the court? To be honest, I'd like to avoid involving House Frigga by any means necessary. I knew it, you're just protecting her, aren't you? Ms. McCoy, do you ever recall how Wyvern Guard's justice system works? To acquit a defendant, you need to unequivocally prove they didn't commit the crime. To do that, they either need a solid alibi, or we need to prove that someone else committed the crime. What do you suppose will happen if you bring Miriam Frigga onto the stand? House Frigga won't allow one of its members to be indicted in a court of law. They'll plan to forge evidence to implicate your defendant, and they'll use the Inquisition to do so. So that's why you'll be keeping away from the investigation. Can't you do anything? The Steelwinds are powerful too, aren't they? You don't have the support of my house. Right now I'm just a prosecutor, nothing more. Steelwind, you know this isn't fair for us. Just do nothing. Do nothing and let us win. Celeste, if we can't go after Miriam, then you can at least help us save Wallace. I'm not going to do that. Why? If Miriam Frigga is the real killer, Sword is the murder weapon, and the mother was trying to blackmail her. I seem to recall another case when an innocent person's sword was used to frame them. That's... As a prosecutor, it's not my place to decide who's guilty and who's not. I won't engage in corruption, even if it is to counter corruption from another noble house. Sorry. Do you know where Miriam is right now? Didn't you hear what I just said? You can't let her think there's even the slightest possibility you'll indict her. Bring the entire wrath of House Frigga upon you. Regardless, I can't do anything for Wallace until I know everything that's happened. Frigga has the last piece I need to put everything together. Well, I suppose I don't have much of a choice, do I? Her dormitory is room 107. I imagine she'll be there considering classes are suspended. Thank you, Steelwind. If I don't tell you, I'm sure you'll probably just find out using some other means. But please, Mr. Cuthbert, be careful. Alright, we need a new voice. Following the Steel Wind's directions, invite Miriam Frega's dorm room. The door leading inside seems a lot more ornately decorated than the other dorms. You go knock on the door, but you don't realize that it's only partially closed. As your fist comes in contact with the wood, you accidentally push the door wide open. Excuse me? How dare you barge into my room? These insects have no respect. Sorry, I meant to knock, but construct, remove these hoodlums from my room. Acknowledged. Corner of the room, the arcane construct stands up and starts making its way toward you. Where you can protest, it raises its fist to hit you. Oh. You don't have time to raise your arms or brace yourself for the impact. Close your eyes and wait for the blow, but instead you hear the clang of steel against shield. Confused, you open your eyes and see Celeste standing between you and the construct. Her sword is drawn and she's using it to block the construct's fist. That's right. Upon taking a closer look at Celeste, the student stares curiously at her. Construct, stand down. Acknowledged. I'm terribly sorry for that. I wasn't aware this was your servant. Celeste looks angry and puts away her sword without a word. I haven't noticed you around campus. Are you a new student here? She has a personal assistant. She must be important. Oh, what? You see an opportunity. Yes, my master just enrolled here, actually. What? Let's give you a puzzled look. You make a silent gesture back. After a moment, she seems to realize what you're doing. Yes, I just started here. I take it you're Miriam Frega? Yes, I'm honored that you recognize me. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Ms. I'm Celeste. Celeste Mc... She catches herself up after a pause from Steelwind. Celeste Steelwind. You can't believe her. There's no way she's going to believe Steelwind. It's a pleasure to meet another member of such an esteemed house. Just from our branch family. Maybe I can use her. Wait, she's actually buying this? I just moved in, and I thought I should introduce myself, seeing as you're a top student in the field of conjuration. Conjuration. Yes! Well, there's no backing out now. Oh, good. Oh, how good. An extravagant bed. Yep. Table for guests.
Imperio Arcanum.
Ms. Frege, I was wondering if we could ask you some questions about... excuse me, I don't believe that anyone has permitted you to speak. Oh, here we go. Celeste's still smiling. You can faintly hear her grinding her teeth together. So, we heard about what happened to Professor Bellwether. I can't believe it. Yes, it's quite tragic what happened to her. She's always been an acquaintance of House Frege. She appears to be more receptive to Celeste. It might be better to let her take the lead on the questioning. Yep. We heard that you saw her on the day of the murder. Could you tell us more about what happened? Oh, you heard what happened from your relative, did you? You don't mind me asking, why are you so interested? She's not like Ari, is she? Oh, you know, I'm just curious is all. You know how uneventful life can be sometimes, being a noble and all. Alright, tone it down. Oh, is that all? I was worried you were going down the same path as that poor, confused Aria. What does she mean by that? I'm in the middle of a study break anyway. I suppose I have some time to sate your curiosity. Construct, please prepare us some tea. Use that lotus tea we imported from the Eastern Kingdoms. She could be useful if I can win her favor. Acknowledge. Lotus tea? You have lotus juice? You feel like you're slowly losing control of the situation. Oh, God. Alright. I heard you saw the professor on the day of the murder. Where did this happen? I was in the hallways when I saw her coming out of the headmaster's office, heading toward the library. Do you remember what time this happened? I'm not really sure, honestly. It's a little embarrassing. I have a bad habit of getting too absorbed in my work. Sometimes I'll spend I'll let entire hours pass by without noticing. You have a rough idea, at least? I think it was in the morning. He thinks it was in the morning. But anyway, did anything seem off about her? No, no, it was a short encounter. I merely greeted her and responded in kind. Or at least that's what should have happened. I thought just now, what does that mean? Slowly glanced Celeste to catch her attention. In small motions, you shake your head to indicate that Miriam's holding something back. Were you and the professor really on good terms? I heard she's pretty mean toward other students. Toward the riffraff, maybe, but not students like us. She was a great ally to House Frega, or at least she used to be. That's why we were planning on appointing her as the new headmaster. Wait, what did you say? Oh, look at this conspiracy. Did you just say your family was going to appoint Bellwether as the new headmaster? I'm surprised you didn't know. House Frega holds several seats on the Academy's board. We're planning on to have her replace that old lout Redmond. They're going to sack the headmaster. Did Headmaster Redmond know about this? Of course not. This is part of a large-scale plan. Along with Redmond, we're also going to replace all the staff members with arcane constructs. We have to keep everything under wraps or else the help would have left prematurely. And where would that leave us? Jan was supposedly overheard Bellwether talking about constructs. Did Bellwether prematurely reveal the plan? Or is Jen lying about how he found out? Oh, that's a good question. But alas, with Bellwether gone, we'll have to delay our plans. So, we heard that Arya took your raper as evidence for the case. Can you believe her? She still won't give it back to me. My father will have my head if I can't get it back soon. How did it even become a part of the investigation anyway? I don't know. Arya won't tell me anything. I swear, if that necromancer was the one who stole it, I'll execute him myself. So someone did steal it from you? Yes, from right out of my room. When did this happen? About a few weeks ago. I noticed when I came back for one of my classes. I'll remove the rapier from his display case in my room. How did they get into your room in the first place? You think someone used magic to teleport past the door? Please, I'm a master of conjuration magic. If someone attempted that, my enchantments would have shunted them out. This means the thief came through one of the doors or windows. I bet it was that necromancer. I'm sure a street child like him just knows how to pick a lock. Ho 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 ho! Oh! Hey, your grades. I heard you're one of the Academy's top students. Your grades must be amazing. Of course! As an inheritor of House Frega, my grades are impeccable. It feels good to have my greatness recognized. That's strange. You don't see anything contradictory through the eye this time. Make a gesture towards Celeste to continue pressing her. Oh, what kind of magic do you study here? You must be joking. I study magic from the School of Conjuration, just like most members of my house. School of Conjuration? That's type magic that specializes in spatial manipulation and teleportation, right? Yes, I consider myself quite the expert in that field. Why, the Crown Prince himself has asked for my assistance in a research study. It's nice to work with someone of my caliber. Yeah, you don't see any thoughts that contradict what she's saying. Does that mean she's not lying? If she's smart enough to get the Crown Prince's attention, why would she be cheating? You said something about my wayward relative before. What, were you talking about Arya? Oh, I'm terribly sorry if I offended you, but I'm sure it must pain you to see the way that she's been acting. Yes, it's been extremely hard. Hang in there, Celeste. Did you know that she even interrogated me about the murder yesterday? Can you believe it? A steel wind running around a crime scene like a common night. Why, if I tried something like that, my father would disown me. So I think the nobility is, yeah, I think I agree with Tyrion here. I think the nobility as a whole just doesn't approve of Steelwind becoming a prosecutor. Honestly, she probably thinks she can do anything just because of her betrothed. Master deserves better. Plus, eyes perk up hearing this. You'd be lying if you weren't also curious about who this Aster is, but you shoot her a stern look to those who stay focused. Can't risk blowing your cover for some gossip. Yeah. You have an arcane construct in your room? I thought they only had them in the library and the locker room. This construct was a gift from House Von Sanctus. I have to say, they're quite neat to have around. They look really cool. Maybe I should get one. You should. A construct would be far more useful than this attendant of yours. Unfortunately, there are some issues with their intelligence. Their intelligence? There are issues when you give them complex commands. Might be easier to show you. In terms of the construct, and begins gesturing towards it. Construct. Please retrieve my textbooks and bring them here. Then, cast Steelwind Strike at this location. After that, retrieve some plates and set them out for this table. Acknowledged. What? Construct stands up and retrieves Miriam's textbooks from one of the shelves in the room. Brings them to the table you're sitting at, just as she's ordered. But then it suddenly stops moving. Wait, what happened? The construct obviously can't cast Steelwind Strike, so my second command was impossible to carry out. Did you do something else? It ignored your third command too. Correct, my third command was possible to carry out. So why did it ignore that command? Constructs execute a series of commands in the order they are given. Let's say one of the tasks is impossible to complete. When the construct gets to that task, it will deem the entire series impossible to complete. As a result, it will stop executing the series altogether. So if a task in the series of commands is possible, then it will interrupt the sequence of commands. Oh, God. Okay, yeah. Cool. They have logic limitations. Oh boy. Lady Steelwind, I'm afraid we must leave now for her to make our next engagement. Oh, right. Let's go, servant. Oh, leaving already? It was a pleasure talking to you. Yeah, sure. I'll to see you around. You make your way back to the foyer with Celeste. Well, time that you have only a brief amount of time before night falls. Are you sure you didn't want to talk to her more? We were getting a lot out of her. We already got a lot of useful information out of her. The more time we spend with her, the more likely she's going to see through our ruse. Right. So why Steelwind? I don't know, I panicked. Arya's like the only noble I know. What about Pierce? I'm not using that creep's name. Well, hopefully Steelwind doesn't mind us borrowing her name. We got her statement of what she saw that day. And there's also what she said about her rapier. I bet she was lying when she said it was stolen. She's probably trying to establish an alibi. I'm not so sure. Why do you say that? Doesn't it feel too obvious? She's lying about the rapier being stolen. That would imply she planned all this in advance. But if she had to choose a murder weapon, why choose something that literally has her name on it? I don't understand if the murder was a spur-of-the-moment decision. She might have just used something nearby in this case. But if this was a premeditated murder committed by Miriam, that rapier would be the last weapon she would choose. Right, I guess that makes sense. There's also the evidence of academic dishonesty. Doesn't match up with what we heard from Miriam. You mean all this stuff about working with the Crown Prince? She's probably making things up to look good in front of me. I have an insight when it comes to things like this. Under normal circumstances, I can usually tell when someone's lying. And a lie as grandiose as that would be something I would definitely see through. Yeah. People can subconsciously shield themselves from Diaporus, even if they don't know about it. But when they do that, you usually can't see any thoughts from them. You also saw that she was lying about her encounter with Bellwether. You would have seen dishonest thoughts that she was lying about her grades. Exactly. She's very proud of her grades. So that must be, like, that has to be the truth. Well, I guess I'll trust your insight, but what does that mean? I don't know. Thanks, Tyrion. Even with everything we found, I'm still not sure the real culprit is. At the very least, I think we should try to pull Miriam onto the stand. If she testifies in court, I might be able to find something I can use. But that's a big maybe. If you don't play your cards right, you might spook the Fregas enough for them to pay off the judge. Either way, it's getting late. We probably have to turn in soon. Yeah. You just hope you did enough to acquit Wallace. I would like to save my progress, yes. It's court time! Court is now resumed for the trial of Wallace Nightgrave. Let us review the proceedings from yesterday. It was revealed that the trace of necromancy may not have been left by the defendant. It may have been left by a witness who used necromancy to attempt to heal the victim. However, the victim was seen by witnesses well after her time of death. This could only be explained by the defendant using necromancy to animate the victim's body. This leaves the question, where did the murder take place? The prosecution have an answer for this. Based on the testimonies of several witnesses, it is very likely that the murder took place in the library. Interesting. What led you to this conclusion, Miss Steelwind? First, I'd like to remind the court where the victim was sighted before the body was found. It began when the victim had a meeting with the headmaster near the center of the building. Our meeting was scheduled for noon. According to my schedule for the day, our meeting lasted an hour. This brings us to the statement of the next witness, a student at the academy. The student saw the victim walking in the hallways. Saw her coming out of the headmaster's office. She's heading toward the library. Which means our first witness saw Bellwether leave the headmaster's office. Presumably this would have happened after her meeting there. That would have been time this encounter was around 1 p.m. The other event in the discovery of the body, which is when Valentina Iannis contacted security. Nope. As we've already established, this event occurred at 3:04 p.m. The significance of this time, the significance of this time is what occurred before the body was discovered. The second witness, a member of the cleaning staff, spotted the victim in the West Wing hallway. This means that the encounter must have happened no later than 2:30 p.m. This implies the victim was near the library between 1 and 2:30. According to the defendant's statements, he was in the library during this time period. Furthermore, the time of death was at 2:07 p.m. This means that Mr. Hughes saw the victim's animated body. Oh good, now we have evidence with time frame. Perfect. That's what I like. Those are the easiest contradictions to just pull apart. I see. Your deduction certainly tracks, Miss Steelwind. What do you have to say in your defense, Mr. Cuthbert? The prosecution's argument is definitely well thought out, Your Honor. However, it is entirely predicated on the testimonies of all the witnesses involved. Because deductions have to have a hole somewhere, and since your conversation yesterday, I think that Miriam is hiding something. Want to get at the truth that you'll have to track that out of her through a cross-examination. Your Honor, to test the validity of these claims, defense would like both of these witnesses to testify. Defense calls Miriam Frege to the stand. Frege? At the mention of her name, the judge's face turns a bit pale. I had a feeling you would come to this. Do you have any objections, Miss Steelwind? I do not, Your Honor. Oh, very well. Bailiff, please escort Lady Frege to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the... You little snakes! How dare you deceive me? Oh, it looks like she found us out. I had the opportunity to debrief the witness beforehand. Ms. McCoy, for the record, I told you to exercise discretion. Does that mean that you should not impersonate a member of my family? Yeah, sorry about that. I gave you all the tea that I imported from the Eastern Kingdoms. I demand you return it to me. Oh. No. Okay, never. Okay. Here I'm thinking, oh, we drank it and she wants it back? No. Okay, this makes more sense. No, you gave them to me. They're legally mine now. I'm not sure what your business is with the witness is, Ms. McCoy, but it's actually please handle your personal disputes outside the courtroom. Anyways, Miriam, could you please suspect the court about your encounter with the victim? Very well. I was working on a research project in my dorm room when I decided to take a break. I left my room and went on a walk. That's when I saw Professor Bellwether exiting the headmaster's office. She was walking in my direction, so I greeted her and responded in kind. After that, she headed toward the library. Short time after that, I went back to my room and continued my work. I see, so it was only a brief encounter. However brief it was, the witness' testimony verifies two things. One is that Miss Frege saw the professor exiting the headmaster's office, because that she witnessed the victim head toward the library. This is a rough timeline of where the victim was before her death. Does seem consistent. Did Bellwether really enter the library that day? I feel like you would have seen her there if she did. Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. Let's see. Oh, let's see. I think we need to press some. I need information. Is this research project part of your schoolwork? It was an independent study to develop a new conjuration spell formula. The project is being sponsored by the Crown Prince himself. I wasn't aware that he was involved in such a study. Of course you wouldn't. You wouldn't expect to know every aspect of his life, dear Arya. You sense a bit of aggression. You don't keep an eye on him, Faust. Let's Frege might steal him back from you. As if His Highness would align himself with your rapacious family. Banking houses from the economic infrastructure. Our banking houses form the economic infrastructure of our kingdom. But perhaps he'll come to the steel ones if he needs to clean a den of goblins. With all due respect, maybe please focus on the matter at hand. Of course, Your Honor. And you're sure you saw her exit the headmaster's office? Yes, I remember it clearly. I'm surprised that she was still meeting with the headmaster at all. She was talking about how they were plotting to replace him. Did you interact with the professor at all, Miriam? Did anything seem off about her? No, but it was a very short encounter. It's not as if we started out a conversation. You said you greeted her and she responded. What words did she use? Why is that important? Ms. Frege, it's possible that someone used illusion magic that day. Every detail about the victim's interactions could be important. Well, I bid her good morning and she said good morning in response. After that, she headed to the library. Did you see her enter the library? I didn't, but there's not much else in that direction. From the testimony of Jan Hughes, we know she later came from the library. Even if she didn't enter the library, she was still in that area for more than an hour. How long did you leave your dorm room? Only for a few minutes. I try not to let my breaks go for too long. And you didn't see the professor again after your first encounter? No, I did not. Let's see. This seems unusual. Because she has such a reputation. Hmm.
Objection!
That's not it.
Objection! Objection!
How? What do you want me to do, game? Let's understand how Bellwether acted.
Objection! Objection!
I guess I can just try things because there's no penalty.
Objection! Objection!
More than an orange. Hmm.
Objection! Objection!
Hmm. Objection! Objection! Oh, okay, sure. I guess. Miss Frege, if I recall correctly, you have a habit of getting absorbed in your work, so much so that you lose track of time of day. Yes, but what does that have to do with my testimony? Early in today's proceedings, the prosecutor made the following argument. First witness saw Bellwether leave a meeting with the headmaster. That would, in time this encounter at around 1 p.m. Miss Frege, if you had said good morning to the professor, you would have been mistaken. That encounter could have only happened during the afternoon. Really? We're being that pedantic? Okay, dude. Okay. I guess. And your point is, you said it yourself, Mr. Cuthbert, the witness simply lost track of time. What the witness said isn't important here. The significance is in what the professor said in response. She just came out of a meeting that was scheduled for noon. She would have been well aware that it was no longer morning. So why would she respond good morning? Wouldn't she have corrected the witness? Oh, yeah, Apollo Justice also has a very pedantic... Yeah. I forgot about that. Their encounter was extremely short, and the victim's mind has been preoccupied. She could have easily responded to the witness without thinking. I'm going to be honest, I kind of agree with her. It's not hard to believe that they were both confused about the time. It's definitely a stretch, but you still can't shake the feeling that she's hiding something. Every time you ask her about how Bellwether acted that day, the eye picks something up. There has to be something there. Miss Frege, you haven't been entirely truthful in your testimony, have you? That's absurd. What reason would I have to lie? It's such a small detail. Why does he even care? Hello, Iceman. Every detail about how she acted is important, Miss Frege. What aren't you telling us? Mr. Cuthbert, if you have no basis to accuse the witness of perjury. Yes, you will stop this at once. Miss Frege, you're lying about how Bellwether responded to you in your greeting, aren't you? It doesn't make a difference. All she did was yell at me. All she did was yell? Miss Frege, is it possible that Miss Bellwether's response was less than friendly? What do you care? What difference does it make? Why is he being so persistent? My job is to make sure every part of your testimony is truthful. Every detail matters, no matter how seemingly insignificant. Mr. Cuthbert, you will stop this or I will find you in contempt! But the professor yelled at you, didn't she, Miss Frege? So what if she did? I mean... I'm sorry, but there's no going back from what you just said. So you do admit that she yelled at you. Oh, impertinent little... Yes, I admit it, the professor didn't greet me back that day. Oh, good morning, Professor. Be quiet. Oh. She yelled at me to be quiet, but till then, we'd always been nothing but courteous with each other. And what got into her that day was something put her in a foul mood. That's it. Everything else I said was the truth. I did see her coming out of the headmaster's office and walk toward the library. So she wasn't lying about that. So is that all, Mr. Cuthbert? What do you mean, is that all? You badgered this witness. Also, you could prove what exactly? The witness committed perjury. The witness changed a small detail of her testimony. Detail that is inconsequential to the case. It's clearly an act with no malicious intent. After seeing her thoughts, hard to disagree with that. You were so sure the eye would lead you somewhere, but Frege was only lying to save face. The witness saw the victim leave the headmaster's office and head toward the library. Do you have any concrete evidence to refute that, Mr. Cuthbert? No, I suppose I don't. Wait, is this really okay? At this rate, this will be the only chance you have to cross-examine her. I don't think she's lying anymore. I don't think she's lying either. I think Bellwether was killed earlier, and this is where the illusions started, like, coming into play. Because if anyone else interacted with Bellwether other than her, she was nasty. So it's assumed she's nasty with everyone which is why she is shocked about it. That makes sense to me. I was really pushing my luck earlier. If I continue pressing her, the judge might actually charge me with contempt. But Miriam isn't the one that's lying. The defense has no further questions for the witness, Miss Steelwind. Prosecutor stays silent for a while. She almost looks disappointed. Very well, Miriam, you are dismissed. Huh. Are we sleuthing? We are sleuthing, Tones. We're doing our best sleuth. Miriam still looks like she's fuming, but she leaves the room without protest. Now, with that out of the way, what else do you have, Mr. Cuthbert? The only way to refute the prosecutor's theory is to cast doubt on one of the witnesses. If it wasn't Miriam, then, Steelwind. To test your theory, you must question every witness that saw the victim that day. So, with that said, the defense would like to call Jan Hughes to the stand. I hope you understand, Mr. Cuthbert, your entire case rests on the assumption that one of the witness accounts is incorrect. Cross-examination Mr. Hughes leads nowhere, then I hope you're ready to concede. I don't like the sound of that, but she's right. Unless you can find something in Jan's testimony, you won't really have anything to disprove her theory. Bailiff, please bring Mr. Hughes. Oh man, did they have to show him yawning? Oh jeez. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court. Mood, right? Witness, and name and occupation. Oh, right. My name is Jan Hughes. I'm on the cleaning staff of the academy. Mr. Hughes, please testify to the court about your encounter with the professor that did that today. Sure. I saw a professor when I was cleaning the West Wing hallways. It was about 20 to 30 minutes before the body was discovered. She walked by me, but she looked pretty out of it. I heard she was undead when this happened. Pretty creepy if you ask me. After that, she went into the empty classroom. You gotta keep the prosecution's difficulty of getting a witness to state their name and occupation. You gotta staple of these types of games. Come on, Jan. What are we supposed to do with that? I don't know. You guys are lawyers. I'm just telling you what I saw. Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. Let's see. Start pressing things, because I need info. How are you so sure it was 30 minutes before? I always check the time to make sure I'm on schedule. I suppose if I finish cleaning, I suppose I was supposed to finish cleaning the halls by 3. Great. Body discovered at 3:04. What was the professor like, Mr. Hughes? Anything else look off about her? I mean, yeah, she wasn't undead after all. That remains to be proven. If you say so. Anyway, what was her demeanor like? She looked like she was in a bad mood. You know that, or she was just tired. But either, I guess she was just dead inside. Literally. God dang it. I believe you've forgotten a few details about what the professor did. Yeah? Sorry, it's hard to remember these things sometimes. Oh, did she touch anything? That's the important thing. Did she touch anything? Oh, yeah. Dr. Revesa shattered it. It might have been an accident, but she's done something like that on purpose before. This detail can be extremely important. Who you say, man? Oh, wait, hold on. Cannot speak. I need to, hold on. I need to change this. Did she make any sounds? Oh, yeah. After she knocked over the vase, she yelled at me to be quiet. But I didn't even say anything. Yeah, let's work. We need to add that. She yelled at me. She's not undead then. Animate corpse does not allow for the corpse to speak. That is important. Mr. Hughes, you said the bellwether yelled at you. What were her exact words? I think she yelled at me to be quiet. What? I thought it was weird. I didn't even say anything. But I know better than to talk back to her. That's the thing, Hughes. The prosecution series is as such. The professor was murdered in the library and was reanimated using animate corpse. The quick illusion spell, no one knows she was undead. However, if what you say was truly the undead bellwether, how did she speak to you? Huh? This doesn't make any sense. You know it's bad when the prosecution knows it's wrong too, right? Like, oh wait, this was a hole in my theory. That's not good. Mr. Hughes, undead can follow simple orders they don't have the intelligence to speak. Perhaps the witness was mistaken. No. I'm sure I heard her yell at me. I remember because what she said didn't make any sense. Exactly. He didn't say anything. But she yelled at him to be quiet. Wait a minute. I'm afraid I don't understand. We've already established that the victim was dead long before her encounter with Mr. Hughes, but if what he saw wasn't an undead, what was it? Oh, it was no. It's an automaton. Oh no. Wait. Oh god, it's one of the robots. Oh no. Yeah, it needs to have massing and the ability to speak. Well created, because they all have her voice. Oh no. What could have done that? Those goddamn constructs. Because they all have her voice. That's it? Do you have an answer for us, Mr. Cuthbert? What did the witness actually see? Your Honor, the witness didn't actually hear the dead victim speaking. What he actually heard was her voice being recreated using magic. Are you... Your Honor, it was robots. Are you trying to say her voice was recreated using a spell? Not a spell, Steelwind. It was artificery. Whoever the murderer is, they had the perfect piece of artificery available to them. One, programmed with Catherine Bellwether's voice. You can't possibly mean... That's right, Steelwind. What Mr. Hughes saw was an arcane construct. An arcane construct! Think of it as a magically animated suit of armor, Your Honor. But we ruled out such a possibility, hadn't we? Contrary or not, no one could disguise themselves and carry the body to the classroom. A person wouldn't have been able to do it. But arcane constructs are a different thing entirely. Those suits of armor are extremely large, but more importantly, they're hollow. Oh, I see. That means that theoretically someone could have placed the victim's body inside it. The arcane construct wouldn't just transport the body with an illusory disguise, it would also confuse and mislead anyone who saw it.
Objection!
That's a small twist to this whole thing that I wasn't expecting. I commend your deduction, Mr. Cuthbert. I never would have considered that possibility. It's certainly plausible. What does that prove exactly? It proves that the body wasn't animated using necromancy? My client isn't the murderer. The defendant is still capable of performing all the acts you described. His companion contains the illusory disguise, after all. There were several students in the library that day. Any of them could have committed the murder. One might come to that conclusion, but they didn't have one crucial piece of evidence. I'd like to present a new piece of evidence to the court. And she's gonna pull out the sword. Blood. Is that? Yes, Your Honor. This is the murder weapon. Ugh. She was saving that for a perfect moment, wasn't she? This rapier was reported stolen by Miriam Frager weeks before the murder, and during the investigation, it was finally found in the defendant's locker. Well, wait! He was clearly trying to use one of her possessions in a paltry attempt to frame her. Why he even stole her locker's nameplate and placed it over his. Damn it, that's not what happened. But honestly, it sounds more plausible than what really took place. We're basically back to square one, aren't we? Anyone could have told that construct to do all those things. Wait, anyone? Is it really true? Construct transported the Professor's body and someone used an illusion to make it look like her. Even used a pre-recorded voice to make the illusion more convincing. Who ordered the construct to hide the body? Oh no. Hello, top file. Oh no. Are we really gonna frame the headmaster? Oh no. I mean, it makes sense because she was lining up to take his position. Several memories flood back to you. It can't be him. What is it, Tyrion? Did you figure something out? I did. Is he seriously the one behind all this? Miss Steele, when the other you said my client could have orchestrated this entire ruse. That's simply not true. How so? Anyone could have ordered the construct to carry out the victim's body. Yes, but not everyone can change what the constructs are able to say. Only one individual has credentials for that. Theodore Redmond, the headmaster of the Imperial Academy. Yup. Wait, you're not serious, are you? You think the headmaster did all this? I don't want to believe it, but he's the only person who could have done it. That's completely ridiculous. Headmaster Redmond would never do something like this. Miss Steelman, there's one common element between each witness's encounters with Bellwether. It's what Bellwether said to them. She yelled at both of them to be quiet. Miriam Frager was particularly surprised. She has a good relationship with the professor. But when greeted by the professor, Bellwether just shouted at her, almost as if the professor was responding indiscriminately. Seeing complete ice covered in my Zooter seed despite having a bottle. So, top aisle. I don't know how to get... I don't have the letter to move Zora. And I don't know King Zora Skip. Otherwise, trust me, I would love to get back to Ice Cavern. How is this? I'm enjoying it so far. You teach me the OWG club, okay.
My friend called me and said an evil wizard turned him into a tiny harp. Turns out he was a big damn liar.
A good one. That's a good one, Iceman. And so, like, just jump slash in the corner. I feel like Ocarina, I'm kind of leaving at as few glitches as possible, just so I don't confuse myself. Professor knocked over a vase and shouted at him to be quiet immediately after, even though he hadn't said anything. She was responding to the sound of the vase breaking. Let me ask you this, Steelwind. Where did Bellwether come from before she encountered Miss Frege and Mr. Hughes? They're meeting with the headmaster. It appears the defense truly means to indict Theodore Redmond. If so, we have no choice but to take a brief recess until he can be brought. There's no need. You have to watch the Pro ZD Ace Trinity Breakdowns video again every time you watch one of these. Yeah, definitely. It's very good. That's such a good video. Fortunately for you, I'm already in the gallery. Headmaster stood up from the gallery seats behind you and slowly walked onto the witness stand. Has been here the entire time? Now please correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Cuthbert, but do you think I am the one who committed this crime? I'm sorry, Redmond, but no matter how I look at it, everything I found points at you. No, there's no need to apologize. In fact, I think I should commend you on the lengths at which you're going to defend dear Wallace. The court appreciates your understanding, Mr. Redmond. Oh, but he's mad. Oh, but he's so mad. Oh, no. Now then, to clear the air, I suppose I should give my testimony on what happened that day. That day, I had a meeting scheduled with the professor at noon. She showed up at the expected time and we discussed administrative matters. The meeting went on for an hour, after which she left to prepare for her next class. Despite our many disagreements, we still know how to be civil with one another. After all, I had no reason to bear a personal grudge against her. That is incorrect. I just can't see it. He seems like such a nice person. Is he really the person we're looking for? He has to be. No one else could have orchestrated this entire plot. I know why, because she was slated to... Oh, where's it at? The plan?
Objection!
Yeah. Like, that one, that's just obvious. Redmond, do you really hold no animosity toward Professor Bellwether? Of course not. I did have strong opinions about her methods of teaching, but always remained professional. Both did. And frankly, I find that hard to believe. In fact, I think you might have a very good reason to murder the professor. Considering she was going to take your job. What? So you knew about that? I'm sorry, but I don't follow. Just how was the professor going to take the headmaster's job? According to Miriam Fragra, Catherine Bellwether was currying favor with the noble families. In fact, there was a plan to oust Mr. Redmond and appoint Bellwether as the new headmaster of the academy. What? But in any case, I doubt that the headmaster had any ideas of this until now. I'd like to remind the court of what the witness's reaction just now. He said, "So you knew about that." His reaction was his reaction wasn't one of surprise, but he wasn't surprised by the information. He was surprised that I knew the information. That's... Please, dear Arya, I may be a frail old man, perfectly capable of defending myself. If you have an explanation, Mr. Edmund, by all means, I'd love to hear it. Gladly. It is true I knew about the Fragrance plot beforehand, but I only just learned about it. On the day of the murder, the professor told me about her plan. She was going to replace me as headmaster, to replace the staff with her arcane constructs. Now, you might say that this would have given me the perfect motive to murder the professor. However, the supposed murder weapon was stolen from Miss Fraga. This happened weeks before the murder and my discovery of the professor's treachery. I had no idea of their plan before she told me, and therefore I wouldn't have known to steal Miss Fraga's weapon and attempt to frame her. Are you satisfied now, Mr. Cuthbert? There's no way the headmaster could have come up with this plan. If he really did do this, that means he stole the rapier too, right? Most likely. His alibi makes sense. He couldn't have planned this whole thing unless he knew about the Bellwether's plans. That would mean he knew about this weeks ago. How did he even find out? The best way to tell a convincing lie is to leave a lot of truths and only change one detail. Maybe Bellwether did tell him. She actually told him weeks ago. Question is, how do you prove that? Okay, alright game. We're gonna go in that direction, are we? Jan said the plan was revealed to the headmaster during a meeting a few weeks ago. He had time.
Objection!
Because that's wrong. I understand the Fregas wanted to keep the secret until the very end. Why would Bellwether all be able to tell you about her betrayal? I should imagine she wanted to talk me with that information. We long had our disagreements, and looking back, she may have resented me for that, and at that point, there wasn't anything I could do to stop her. Really, I thought you and Professor were on good terms. I thought so too, but I suppose it was all a facade. She was just biding her time until she could take my position as headmaster. Yeah. Yeah, we do. Oh. I put it here.
Objection!
Or not. Writing this seems better than Ace Attorney. Maybe it might just be more your cup of tea. Let's see, too big, too convenient for you. It may appear that way, yes. But
Objection!
there we go. It's like, I know it literally says it in the, we have a thing in the court record that says he was told weeks before. So no, he has that time difference exists. Redmond, you keep saying that you didn't know about Bellwether's plot before yesterday. You still plan on standing behind that claim? Of course I am, because it's the truth. I'm sorry, Redmond, you really should close doors during your meetings. Well, someone see. It is true that Bellwether revealed her plan to you during one of your meetings. In fact, Dan Hughes happened to overhear the same meeting, but he only overheard the part where the staff would be replaced. And that's the strangest part, Redmond. According to Mr. Hughes, this meeting occurred weeks ago. You can't accuse the headmaster of perjury based on a rumor. Everything you've just said is based on secondhand information. Mr. Hughes distinctly overheard the staff would be replaced with arcane constructs. That is too specific and too accurate to assume that he misheard a different conversation. The professor only wanted to reveal her plans for the arcane constructs. It still doesn't prove that he knew about her treachery beforehand. Professor Bellwether had no authority over the cleaning staff's employment. It wouldn't make sense for her to just reveal her plan for the arcane constructs. It only makes sense if he knew that Bellwether would be taking his job. So tell me one thing, Redmond. Why would you need to lie about this? Because you saw a need to protect yourself from my accusations? Redmond, I asked you a question. Did you murder Catherine Bellwether? What a fine mess this is. Headmaster, you truly plan on pushing this, are you? Well, your thesis sounded promising, Mr. Cuthbert, but I believe your arguments use a little work. I mean, it's argument time. Yeah, there's a sequel coming out, apparently. You think I killed Catherine Bellwether? Me? I'm an elderly man in his late 80s. I was alone and had nothing to overpower Bellwether. I could barely walk and much less wield a rapier. But you have constructs? But you and Bellwether are the only people in that room, were you? You need an arcane construct to carry Bellwether's body. That means the construct would have already been in your office, and with your privileges, you could have just as easily programmed the construct to stab Bellwether for you. Even so, think about what would have transpired afterwards. Recall Miss Steelan's timeline of Bellwether's witness. With your theory, the construct would have spent more than an hour in the library. Having it there would have risked my so-called ruse from being discovered. Luckily, Lady Fraser can't tell night from day. I wouldn't have... I'm gonna go with empathy. Okay, what you're saying clearly doesn't match what you're thinking. Well, maybe not. Guess not. I guess intuition. The timing deduced from Miss Frega's testimony is predicated on one thing. She saw Miss Bellwether exit your office after your meeting. However, if we assume that you're lying about when this meeting ended, your entire argument falls apart. Miss Frega would have encountered Bellwether after her death at 2:01 p.m. Miss Frega wouldn't make a mistake like that. Miss Frega thought it was morning when she saw Bellwether. She can't reliably tell the time. Then, what about where the rapier was placed? If I really was the murderer, then that would mean I planted the weapon in the young Wallace's locker. Several students had lockers there that I had access to. I wouldn't have placed incriminating evidence in that locker. Also, one of my prized students, if I had to frame anyone, he'd be the last person I'd choose. Except it was in Miriam's... The nameplates were already switched because children are rude. So he thought he was placing the Miriam's, but it was actually Wallace's. You're right, Mr. Redmond. You wouldn't try to frame Wallace, but you would try to frame Miriam Frega. It would have been the perfect act of revenge, wouldn't it? You murder your treacherous coworker and frame the daughter of the family that helped her? But something went wrong, didn't it, Redmond? Labels on Wallace's locker, Miriam's locker were switched. Anyone who saw that would have easily mixed them up. I am the headmaster of the Imperial Academy. I have records of all the students' lockers and where they are located. There's no reason I would make a mistake like that. If I truly planned this, I would have known where Wallace's locker was. A simple change in labels wouldn't have led me to make a careless mistake like that. But it wasn't you. It was the construct. You told the construct to do it. Arcane Construct was the one who planted the rapier in the locker. I bet you commanded to place this rapier in the locker of Miriam Frega. But it was the ID number of Wallace's locker, assumed it was Miriam's. This is... Miss Steelman, say something. What? Mr. Cuthbert, your theory may be plausible, but there's no evidence to support it. That's right, you don't have any proof, do you? This man has the look of Damon Gant. Like, look at him. He's Damon Gant without being like... Without being Damon Gant. Arya's pretty helpless when Tyrion gets like this. Nah? You don't think? Damon Gant is Damon Gant, but... Is it the logic limitation? That's the only thing I can think of. I was close. So is it the evidence? Oh, because my first guess was arcane constructs. Do I need to present the locker room construct specifically? Yes, okay. The arcane construct is still in the locker room where we planted the Raver. All we do is take a look inside, and we'll see that there's blood inside. Is that so, Mr. Cuthbert? Let's look so confident. No, Mr. Cuthbert, I already checked inside the construct during my investigation. The interior was completely clean. But what? The construct's primary function to assist in clean dear Tyrion. They have a function that allows them to clean themselves inside and out. Well, we can look at its command history, right? Think about it, Mr. Cuthbert. Do you really think the murderer would leave behind evidence like that? I'm sure that whoever orchestrated this plot, they've ordered the construct to wipe its logs when it was finished. No, that's right, Mr. Cuthbert. Your case against me is theoretical at best, but I suppose I can still give you logs for trying. But is that too... Hold on. The command log must be cleared regularly. Is that something that the construct can do itself? Because if it can't, this says that it stops. Running out of options, but you still have one pool left. It's becoming the glare like that, young Tyrion. Give yourself back to the moment with Garrett Pierce. Think about what's at stake for Wallace, like in Celeste. His life and future in your hands.
Naught can remain concealed.
Oh. Alright, here we go. He did a good job trying to track something he forgot to get rid of. Construct's orders were clear. Plant the body in the lecture hall. Then plant the evidence in Frega's locker. Supposed to head to the storage room after. What happened? Okay, so there was another command in there. That must be when it was told to clear its log. And it can't. It can't clear its own log. It can't. Related to the construct's actions. Why was the construct in the locker room though? It shouldn't have been there if it followed my orders. No matter, it wiped its logs. He had nothing on me. He did order to wipe its logs in order to cover his tracks. Probably would. Here are the constructs to the storage room. Yeah. Okay. See, that's what I thought. We found it in the locker room. What stopped it leaving the locker room? It can't. Something interfered with it. But what? I'm not seeing it. In my mind, it interfered with itself because it can't clear its own log. You think it's a testimony? Oh, the body was reported earlier than Redmond expected. This means he probably started lockdown before the construct was finished. Oh. The commands were interrupted by the lockdown. Which means if his orders were interrupted by the lockdown, this kind of happens when you figure out steps 5 but haven't figured out 2 through 4. Welcome to me playing any Ace Attorney game. I see the conclusion and then I have no idea how to get there. You're not giving up, are you? Do you even have to ask? Yeah, I thought so. But how are you going to prove he did it if he's not testifying? Oh, don't worry. The next witness's testimony will be all I need. Next witness? That look on your face isn't one of defeat. Just what are you planning? Oh, it's all nothing but desperate bravado. Now, you'll excuse me. Let your quarry get away, Mr. Cuthbert. Hope you know what you're doing. I do, Miss Steelwind. First, I'd like for the Inquisition to bring the arcane construct in the Academy's locker room. We've already established that the murderer could have wiped it from history. Please just hear me for a second, Miss Steelwind. Very well. Bailiff, please relay Mr. Cuthbert's request to Commander White. There it is. Well, here's your construct. I hope you know what you're doing, Mr. Cuthbert. Time to interview the parrot. Construct. What are your orders? Please just say your command history. Reporting. Command 1. Stand by in Headmaster's office. Command 2. Await vocal signal. Attack from Theodore Redmond. You hear Redmond stand up from the gallery. Seeing this, the prosecutor watches him carefully, clutches the handle of her cane. Command 3. Treat. Oh, Catherine Bellwether as a hostile entity and neutralize. Construct, wipe your hold. Hodl. That was hodl. Before you can finish the sentence, the prosecutor points the cane to the headmaster. Magic Manager shoots from him and collides directly with him. Hodl. The magic wreaths around his body, stopping him from moving. He's clearly trying to struggle against it, but he looks like he can't even move his mouth. Possibly, Tones, possibly. Miss Steelwind. Excuse the interruption, please continue. Command 4. Await vocal signal, leave from Theodore Redmond. Command 5. Move to classroom 2B. Reply to any inquiries with voice line number 3. Command 6. Remove Catherine Bellwether from inferior frame and place on floor. Thank you, Construct. You can stop now. I think we know the rest. Just to be clear, who gave you this series of commands? Commands provided by Headmaster Theodore Redmond. Yup. There it is. How? I ordered the construct to wipe its command history. Mr. Redmond, constructions don't follow the same logic humans do. They're prone to error when the commands are impossible to execute. Impossible? In what way were my commands impossible? You're the one that made it impossible. You activated the lockdown system. The lockdown body was found earlier than you'd like. You had no choice but to immediately activate the lockdown system when it was reported. However, the construct was still in the locker room when you did this. So that's why it was there. The construct finished its tasks in the locker room. Then it tried to follow your next command. It tried to move to the storage room, but was prevented from doing so. Completion of that command was impossible, so the series of commands was stopped before it wiped its history. You little... Theodore Redmond, you ordered the construct to murder Catherine Bellwether. Then you had it placed under the murder weapon, place the murder weapon in a locker to frame Miriam Frege. And we have your construct's testimony to prove it. And that's checkmate. We're playing chess. I can't believe it. How could you do something like this, Headmaster?
It.
She was going to take everything from me. My position, my academy, my students. Everything would be gone. I was going to be stolen by her and the Fregas. You're 88 years old. You could have just retired. Why didn't you say anything to me? I could have... Don't you dare stand there and act ignorant, Lady Steelwind. Do you think the Fregas acted alone? Your father was a part of this plot, too. What? Retired? No. Gotta murder. Yeah. You know. I have nothing to say to you. I thought you were different. I listened to your lies about societal reap. In the end, you were just like the rest of the aristocracy. By the Scale Lord, what have I done? I was even willing to sacrifice poor Wallace. I can't believe why did I do this? Ah, it's her! It appears we have a full confession. The court sees no reason to prolong this any further. Bailiff, please escort the witness to a holding cell. Mr. Cuthbert, you really did it? Feels amazing, right? Like a big weight lifted from your shoulders? It does, but I can't believe the headmaster was the one who did this. Right, despite everything Redmond did, he was the one that allowed Wallace to pursue his dreams. I'm sorry, I'm sure this is bittersweet for you. What am I going to do now? Headmaster Redmond was the only reason I could even attend the academy. With him gone... Come on, don't think of it like that. You got acquitted. I'm sure it'll all work out. You want to agree, but necromancy is basically taboo. Without Redmond's support, there aren't many places he could learn it legitimately. And then there's the Imperial Academy. Hey, don't you get set on me too. Sorry, I was just thinking, with Redmond gone, the Fregas will probably just appoint another sycophant as their headmaster. Valentina, Valerie, and Jan, they're all gonna lose their jobs. Come on, you found the truth and you put a murderer behind bars. You saved Wallace. She's right. As right as the courtroom, you're greeted by Miss Tamora. She in the gallery the entire time. At the end of the day, you saved Wallace from a wrongful conviction. You should be proud of yourself for that. I suppose you're right. Maybe I am overthinking things. But doubt still lingers in your mind. Now come on, I'm taking Wallace to that restaurant we went to last time. Do you remember how much that place cost? Don't worry, I have plenty of gold. Am I the only one on this team not making any gold? Why don't you meet us there, Celeste? I need to talk with Tyrion for a moment. Alright, let's go, Wallace. Okay. Hey, ban for the... Oh. Should have chosen alchemy, right? You activated the empowered eye again, didn't you? Doesn't appear to be praising you. I did. I didn't really have a choice. Eye of Horus is a powerful tool, Tyrion. It's twice now you've used the empowered eye to get out of a tough spot. You can't keep relying on it if you want to grow as an attorney. One day you'll find a witness that the empowered eye won't work on. Took me this far, though. But I suppose you're right. I'll try to rely on it less next time. That marked the end of another case in my career as a defense attorney. Another life saved, another murderer brought to justice. I still couldn't shake this feeling of uneasiness. Was it guilt for what would happen to the faculty staff? Was it something else? Yay! That's the second case. Man, feels I'm talking with this per hours. They're even asking this. I thought she doesn't trust his testimony. Something about his memory is not matching up with the crime scene. You don't think he has mage blight, does he? No, not that. She found this damn symbol etched into his desk. Or what does she call it? The purple mark? Oh, for love of not this again. Look, the little lady wants to chase her boogeyman. Let her. At least this time, she's doing it personally instead of dragging us into it. Cast sleep. Hey, what's up with... Oh... Who did this to your desk? What has gotten into you? I've already admitted to everything. What more could you possibly want from me? Where did this graffiti come from? It's worse than mage blight. I'm afraid he's a buffoon! Oh my god. What's this symbol? What is this purple mark? I don't know. A student must have done it at some point. Think very hard, Headmaster. When did you receive this purple symbol? Focus on the moment you received this. Wait a minute. I remember it now, but how? Lady Steelwind! Aria, what happened? Are you okay? That was close. My elation over meeting him almost made me forget. Eris, what are you doing here? Why? Wait, I remember now. It was you. You put those ideas into my head. You're the one who told me to murder Bellwether. Oh, you humans never fail to amuse me. I didn't make you do anything. Everything you did that day, all the planning, all the preparation, that came from your own mind. I just have to say, I was quite entertained with the scheme you came up with. Well, you even broke into Miriam's room. I didn't know you had it in you, old man. You made me forget our conversation, but how? Illusions can't affect the mind. Magic can't affect the mind. It's a shame, though. Would have much rather turned Wallace into the antagonist of this chapter. Could you imagine if he turned? It would have been spectacular. Armies of the undead running rampant in the streets. Alas, even I couldn't corrupt his poor soul, his pure soul. Answer me, who are you? What are you? Who am I? I'm the Lord of the Sixth Circle. Oh. Oh. Oh, the fucking creepypasta. Yeah, that's what I said the first time I saw her. Well. What?
Wow.
Wow, indeed. Case 3 next week, is that what we want to do? I'm trying to figure out, because it's only 10. We've only been going for 2 hours. Alright. Good luck, Iceman. I believe in you. Oh. Okay, well, I'm mostly looking to see, do I wanna work on some of my async stuff, or do we want to keep going here? That's why child grinding, I sat for 2.5 hours after stream, after I cut stream yesterday. During D&D, I just threw animals at that chow. All stats are at 50. I've gotten all the items off of the stats. So now it's just a matter of doing doing all the races and stuff. Which that could be a nice, relaxing Saturday morning sort of thing. I need to double check with Clandiro. We have plans, I think, today at some point. I want to double check what time we're going to do that. So yeah, I think we'll pause Tyrion here for now. I'll try to push through. Next week's what? March 1st. So we'll try to push through all of case 3 next time. Because what, we have 3 cases left in here? Yeah, there's 3 cases. And it looks like the next case is about the origins of this thing. Less reading because it's voice acted, that would be phenomenal, honestly. I mean, I'm loving doing the voices and stuff, but it's just still hard on my throat and takes a lot out of me. So I think, yeah, next week we'll pick up with case 3.